Hello guys, my name is Tumitladi. This is going to be part 3 of a data access layer, which is a database. This I'm showing how I built license any tips. I'm giving you the insights of how I've built it. Please watch part 1, it's very important. Watch part 2 for you to understand part 3. So now I'm going to show you news feeds. Where did I make use of these news feeds? And where did I make use of these trials? So we'll talk about one-to-many relationship, because in part 2 we spoke about foreign keys, right? Good. Now, where did I make use of news feeds? Now, you'll be surprised that those that are making use of database, it's both the MVC and the web API, right? Now, web API simply because because of this guy MVC, right? Then let me show you. So let's go to controllers. We're gonna look at this folder. We're gonna look at general. We'll find newsfeed controller. So the request is gonna come in, right? Which I'm gonna show you the ad. I'm gonna show you the ad page, and I want you now to pay attention to this guy, which is the newsfeed view model, because I'm using MVVM pattern. So in here, what you see news feed ID, title, display, value, create on. How many properties in there? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are they not the same as the name of the class? They are the same, even with the name of the properties, because that's how you become disciplined. You don't want to create a view model and you just give it something stupid that's not gonna make sense to you. There's a reason why. I'm not gonna talk about this, we'll talk about that. Okay, so when I present a page, it's gonna be in the form of ad, but using view model to get information out of view, right? So after that, I'm gonna have that information out of the view model. It's gonna pass this condition. We'll talk about this. I'm just going ahead of myself. As soon as I say, okay, that checked, that means the data that comes in from the user, from the UI, it's valid. So we're gonna skip this guy. And then now we need to do something about it. That's when the service comes in. So let's look at the service. General folder, newsfeed folder, iNewsfeed. I'm only gonna focus on this method called add async. Now, it expects newsfeed view model. You should remember that class, and then it's going to return, right, the actual object. What do you see here? It's going to come from a project called the license heading tips _ data access layer, which is this project. .tables. There's a folder called tables. It's going to look on here, and it's going to look at a folder called general. So it's going to get that one. Let me close the rest. It's going to go and look for general, and then it's going to find the newsfeed, right? So it's going to return that as an object, which is this guy. The implementation of that interface is going to be this one. Like I said, I'm just going to focus on add, which is this guy. So I'm going to expect the view model, and then I'm going to build. You see, I'm initially using the object initializer, right? This is an object initializer. But note, this guy has 5 properties. Whereas here it is 5 properties, but I want you to exclude the first one, because when we initialize this object, this is already been taken care of by default because we are assigning a new GUID. So exclude that one. So excluding this one, we're expecting title, description, value, right? Title, description, value, yes. But what about the last one, which is created on? I'm glad you are concerned about that one. I'll talk about that one. So what I do is, whatever that comes from the user, the title, the description, the value, I'm going to assign to title, description, value, and it's going to build up news feeds. Then check what I'm doing. That newsfeed dot. If I do dot now, you see I have access to all the properties. That guy, but I'm not making use of it because it's already being taken care of by the constructor, right? I already have the title. There's a title. I have the description. There's a description. I have the value. The value is going to come from the user, but now I also have access to create on. So what I do here, I have a helper. I have a helper method in a class called helpers. Let me just give you a glimpse of that method. So this guy, I'm using it for a reason, right? For a reason. So what I'm doing, I'm getting the current date time, but then again, I'm also doing it in a sense that I'm converting everything in our time zone. And I'll talk about this and why this was a helper thing, because what I can do, I could have easily done this. Let me show you. I could have easily done datetime.now, and this will still be valid, because what it does, it express this. But there's a reason why I want to get in our current South African time zone, because this is target for us, right? So I'll talk about that. But what's important is it's gonna get, what does it return? It returns daytime. If I go back, it returns what? Daytime. One or the other is gonna return daytime. Okay, so I have that, and then I'm gonna use that application DB context. Oh, I forgot to show you this step. Okay, so this application DB context, you see where it comes from? That project data access layer in a folder called identity, and there is application DB context from here, and there we go, right? So now I'm using what we call dependency injection. I'm using the constructor to inject this guy, right? And then when I use anything that's a dependency injectable, I always denote it with underscore so that I know, right? So now that guy, let me close this before it becomes confusing. And these, I don't care about these ones. So what I'm saying is application DB context dot. You see dot. If I do dot, I have other properties. Remember stuff like trials, topics, tags, suggestions, subscription. Where does it get these guys? Version updates, notifications, light suggestions, light videos. All of these are these classes. I spoke about this in part 2, and then I said this is where application, where is it? DB context, any like newsfeed, there we go. And then this is gonna be, remember it's a property, so I have access to it because it's a public property, right? I hope that makes sense. So let me go back. I still have a few minutes. So that's how we get access to this guy as a property. As you can see, it's a property. And what I do, I say dot add, and because what does it expect? It expects this newsfeed, and then it's gonna save it, and then it's gonna return. That's it. Although I'll talk about a potential bug here, because I don't know if this was success or not. What it does, it returns an int for us to know if it was success or not. But we'll talk about this. What do you see here? I just want to show you that we have this project called data access layer. We have identity stuff, and then we have normal tables. But how do we make use of this? I can also show you, this needs part 4. Should we talk about part 4? Let's do part 4. I'll see you in part 4. But make sure that you remember this. It's only gonna cost you 25 Rand for me to teach you all this for a full hour, from Monday to Friday. 25 Rand per session, from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. I can show you everything about the database, what I know, right? Sounds good? Hit me up, I'll leave my numbers.